I am... Oh! Boop, 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 boop. Let's... Oh. Oh. Can I... How do I... Oh, it's... Oh, space and... Okay. I'm relearning... I'm remembering all of these. Okay. So... What I did last time here was basically the entirety of decorating Taurine. And I've got this southern continent I could do, or southern pole continent I could do. I've got the southern continent to Nalrith of Shara that I could do. Shara. Shara sounds too appropriate-y. I think just Shara is fine. Eos. Love the name Eos for a continent. And then there's also this arm here, which I feel like should probably be its own continent, especially seeing as there's this whole convergence point. Yeah. Let's see. A couple of things that I had thought to maybe do were like place cities and stuff on this map, but I don't have that stuff around me now, so I think I might just continue designing these other continents, probably. So, turn the music up at this point. Yeah. So, nothing to it but to do it, am I right? This went really well. This, honestly, if I can just take a moment to appreciate how well Taurine went, this went pretty well. I actually really like that, especially with all the like the caves over here. Placed a few cities. Oh, so cool. And now, maybe I could do some like actual labeling here. Because like the way that I have this whole bit set up, that like right here is pretty much where my most recent campaign is taking place, so I'll probably need to label that. If I can get small town, do we have farm? I guess it probably would just be farm, right? Oop, not what I wanted to do. Can I still... Oh, alright. Still decrease the size even further? Okay. Yeah, there... Or maybe no. Maybe we save... Yeah, we'll save small towns and stuff for like region maps, like continent maps. Like if I make a map for Nalrith, it'll basically just be this, and then I can get a little more detailed there. But if I'm doing just the world map, I think maybe just like larger cities like here and topographical details are probably more important. So let me sort of just consider for a minute. Oh gosh. You know what? I'll be right back. I'm gonna actually get a piece of paper real quick. I'll be right back. Okay. I got it again. I grabbed the folder again. I should just, like, keep this in here by default. So I've got... Ooh. I do actually have a rough topography for Shara. So... Let's consider this for a bit. Okay. So the only map that I actually had, like, colored in and stuff was for Nolrith. But I can do Shara for sure. Oh, wow. That's... small. Okay. So... Let's put this, like, right beside me. Right here. There we go. Alright, so I need to get some ideas. Alright. Texture, green. We will reduce the friggin' size of you. Ooh, the mountains. Okay. Mountains. Is this large mountain? Small mountain? Okay, that's... Jesus. No, I don't want to rotate. Drop the size further. At that point, let's... How about we just do that to 12? Let's see what that does. Okay, that's fine. So based on this map, these basically... I think those are large mountains. Let's do... Oh, yep, those were large mountains. So let's get those out of here. I'm going to increase this back up to 16. A little larger. There we go. Okay. So based on this map that I have drawn, these pretty much continue on in a line down to about there. I've got a little cluster. Let's do larger mountains here, right in the center. And that can be a whole, like, volcanic thing. Which sort of... There we go. And then I've got more mountains down along the southern coast, which pretty well makes sense along a little divergence plate like that. Like if you know of the Andes Mountains down in like South America, that's pretty much how those are. It's just right, basically the edge of Peru. If I can just make you a wee bit smaller. Let's go with the wide one. Put you right there. I like that. I like that. You know what? Get you out. Get you out. You can just settle right at the top there. Much better. Okay. Alright. Alright. Good. Now let's use the brush tool. This area is all hills, but I do have forest labeled for like about along there. And that kind of goes up there, probably about halfway-ish. Like that. Yeah, just like that. The land, this is going to be a larger foresty area at the south end. But I am going to need hills for... Oh my god, we can turn those up a bit. That can be... Thank you! Oh god, I like I mentioned, I keep hitting buttons on my number pad, which is my my hotkeys. So old habits die hard. But thank you for the reminder, Chaotic and Writer, which, by the way, welcome in. I'm just doing some actual crafting on my homebrew D&D world. Oh god. Where does the rest of this... Is that an actual river? I'm kind of translating an old map I have into this. So I'm missing a little bit of fine details, but it works out. Nice. Yeah! Yeah, I'm having fun with it. It's something I've been meaning to do for a long time, so I figured might as well do it on stream, since apparently that's the only time I can get work done. Alright, so we have smaller branches off of this river. Not many, but most of them are in the northern half of this southern continent. Paper! Stay! Ah! Okay. So, branches off right about here. Go through this mountain. That sort of acts as a halfway point in this kind of... Hey! Thank you so much for the follow! Oh, I love that. I appreciate that so much, Chaotic and Writer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we'll just, bring up the ocean there. Then I knew... Hey, gotta love the emotes. Maybe someday I'll have some emotes of my own. We shall see. That goes down there. Is this another one? Another river that sort of curves through the mountains. Yeah, so all of the heavy water flow in this sort of northern area is going to lead to a lot more forested and... Oh god, what's the term? Floral area. I think I have it written down as like, this is a very rainforesty part of this continent. Do I have another? Yeah, I got one more thing here. And that is that this river comes up and around and sort of just deltas right after. So if we can... like that. Come in here. There, yeah. Comes along here. I'm a fan of a nice delta when it comes to river endings. I mean, a lot of this stuff, a lot of rivers kind of begin in mountains, at least in the area of the world that I live in. Which is weird, but I'll be honest, I'm not a geologist or a geographer. I'm not necessarily 100% confident on how worlds work, but you know what? This is fantasy, so I want to make it work in a way that I want to make it work. But yes, so this is... I guess you could see this as a parallel to, like, the Amazon. Realistically, rivers flow down mountains. That's... I figured as much. Also, welcome M14SRV. Thank you so much for coming in. But yeah, this is nice. This is nice. Okay. So this is going to be a very wetlandsy area. Behold the mighty Wunticle. I've seen these squid emotes before, and that is that's beautiful. Behold. But yes, I have this area up top here is going to be a sort of wetlands, so I need to have a bit more. Oh, yeah, there we go. Are you not coming through? Paint. Is this not... Oh, whoa! That's going on the water for some reason. Foreground? There we go. Okay. Alright, we got it, we got it. So yeah, if this is gonna be... Oh, god damn it. How do I do it underneath that actual paint? Not a geographer either, can create interesting ideas, though the area left of the charade text, because the river forks into the mountains in some parts, reminds me of a high plateau or a highland region. That's basically what I kind of wanted to do here, is like, this eastern region of this world was, in my mind, mostly meant to be like, sort of a highlands, yeah, like a very large flatlands area for nomadic communities traveling around, following where herds of animals go. In my mind, kind of inspired loosely by old, what's the old, like, Mongolian styled nomadic stuff. I have streamers making stat blocks and pictures of this thing, the amount I posted. Oh my god. Isn't it basically an earthworm with suckers? Or like a snake with no head? That's amazing. Makes sense? Yeah. I felt as much. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to... If that's... Here we go. Yep. I'm just gonna have to recolor in the rivers, which is fine. Or maybe just get over on the edges there. There we go, there we go. Sucker worm. By God, that would be a freaking D&D villain or a monster, wouldn't it? This just right along the bottom there. So the East Coast cliffs get the height. Yes, that is a great idea. I need to find where the cliffs bit is. And as a note, I don't exactly have any of the... Oh, no. What are you doing? Hold on. It's freezing. Let it buffer. Let it buffer. There we go. Alright. I don't have the subscription to Incarnate, so I don't have a lot of the free stuff. Or I basically am just dealing with the free stuff, and I don't know if I can do... Shut up, Bixby. Don't know if I can do cliffs, but I will work on that. Yeah, screw it. Color it in. And then we will just get back to... As soon as it loads up. As soon as it loads up. I'm sure there's a way to do cliffs on, like, the borderline there. I'm sure I can figure it out, but I just need to get to the figuring. Same, only free, no other. Yeah. Like, the stuff is pretty cool that you can get with the purchasing things, but to be fair, you don't need any of that, which is also pretty fair that it's all free. Alright, so we go here, and then drop it down to narrow for the delta. I feel like river deltas are underrated. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Okay. Bump this up a couple ticks again to get along the river to... There we go. And then just clearly make this one... There we go. Goes a bit clearer. Okay. Alright. So, if I, hypothetically, wanted to make these cliff faces... Let's see if there's a way. So this, I believe that... Yeah, that just makes earth. That just makes a whole land bit. So I wonder... Advanced settings? Oh. Unfortunate. Coastline. Dark ripples, dark coastline, simple coastline. Okay, let's see. Oh, that does it for the entire thing. Interesting. What do these all look like? Light coastline, dark coastline, dark ripples, simple coastline. Okay. Light ripples. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. No ripples light. No ripples dark. Well, if this is for the entire, like, world, That's actually not horrible. That's really clean. Honestly? Like the no ripples light? I actually really like that. Wow. Dark coastline, no ripples. That's clean. Okay. Okay. So then, if I'm trying to... Nope, don't have that. Note tool, do that later. I bet there's coastline in here. In the stamps. Coast, no. How about cliff? Ah, there are cliffs. Star indicates you gotta pay for it. Damn it! Foiled again. Oh well. I'll just have to keep that in mind in my head. Anyway. Now, let's see. What else? Am I bothering much with more hills down here? Or there's not many hills many other places. So that's wetlands there. Let's continue on with getting rainforest down. So have this as a wetlands. This down here is closer to rainforest. So let's get that marked. These are going to be volcanic mountains since it's going to be like a hot spot in the center of the continent. Whereas this is like a plate subduction zone where they're pulling apart. I know a little bit of geology. I know a little bit of geology. So this... Okay. I wish I could go for darker colors, but I can only ask for so much. But I can always put in trees, and that would be fine. Okay. Doop-doop-doo. At least they also allow for, like, in this northern continent, there's the snow trees and regular trees that you can do. Both are available in free. So volcanic rock isn't sedimentary rock. Exactly. Which, if I remember right, I think volcanic is generally denser and more coarse, I feel like. Unless it's the no, sedimentary is, because it's been sitting there being compounded over generations. How far down does this go? To the curve. Actually, no, until the top. Okay, until basically the top here. So we'll have like the actual rainforest itself go till about the edge of this mountains here, so that the river isn't like forest and then directly into plains. Being someone myself who has spent the entirety of their life in the Northern Hemisphere, it's always interesting trying to figure out how Southern Hemisphere atmospheres work and like climates and stuff. Because like, obviously the farther south you go towards the pole, it's still also gonna be like getting colder and colder, but the way that the Earth is tilted, it's kind of like the Southern Hemisphere is still warmer than the Northern in general, if I remember right. It's been a while since those classes. Let's go ahead and bump up size here. So at this mountain range, it turns into plains, so I'm just gonna lean up along here. Yeah. That's gonna be plains. Southern climates seem to be more rainforest, higher humidity. Yep, exactly. Which, I mean, technically, this isn't Earth, so I could be whatever I friggin' want, and it's a world of magic, so again, it could be whatever I want. But at the same time, you know, I'd like to keep it as close to something familiar as I realistically could. Alright, so we've got, those are going to be all hilly, and I think we can stick with the base gray sort of beige tone. But as far as like the actual plains, I want to go with this more yellower green. this goes until about the peak of the hills. So I'll just have that go along there. Then I've got major cities that, again, I could place down. Your planet could have an axis 90 degrees to the sun and have 50 always day, 50 always night. That's true. That's also true. However, I do still really like having a time that changes for summer and winter. Like, I'm not going to change too much, even for ease of myself. Like, even on the calendar, I literally, 1, stole the Greyhawk calendar and renamed everything, and 2, kept the 7 days in the week, and also kept, like, the first initials for each day, because I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get too fancy with that, so we're just going to do it like that. And gently around here. But yeah, I do like basing a bit of it in actual geography. Just for the case of, like, you know, sometimes nature does it better than I do. I normally rewind a bit and have, like, Thor's Day. Yeah. Absolutely. One thing that I tried to do is, like, the fact that a bunch of our days are named after certain religious deities and religious figures. Like, Thor's Day is literally Thursday, or reverse that. Thursday is literally Thor's Day. I think Wednesday was supposed to be Odin's Day or something, and it just got bastardized all to hell. Tuesday was literally Tyr's Day, like the god Tyr. And also how, in the Gregorian calendar, on Earth, the Gregorian calendar, it used to be, like, Monday is Moon Day, right? Yeah, exactly, and Sunday's obviously Sunday. It was all sorts of simple stuff that they used to just designate arbitrary days of the week. But then the Gregorian calendar, to go back to that, it used to be, like, 10 months in the year. But then you have Julius Caesar, who was like, you know what? I'm big and important. I'm going to put myself in my name on the calendar. And that's why I have July. And that there used to be 10 months in the year. So that's why you would have, like, October for 8, September for 7, November for 9, December for 10. But then Julius put his month on the calendar, and based on how the days were divided into 11, he made it a big month because he was like, I'm big and important. And then Augustus comes along, and he's not to be outdone. He's, I'm going to do the same thing. So he puts August right after July, and he's like, I'm going to have the same amount of days because I'm not going to be outdone. So now July and August are both to the highest number for months in our year, which is 31. And that's how you have October being the 10th month, September being the 9th month, because they were all bumped down too. You gotta love arbitrary rulers who are like, I make the rules, so I am gonna make the rules. And so that's something that went into my mind when I was also thinking up names for, like, months, for festivals, is I kind of just made up things that I'm like, I'll fill in the history later. Which, oh god, I didn't bring my flash drive. My flash drive has my stuff on it. But I kind of just want to focus on the map making here anyway. So, bring it out here. How are we doing? How are we doing? Oh, that's meant to be desert. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. There's also another factor that I missed. This little bit was meant to be a peninsula. Okay. Let's dig this out. Let's make you real tiny. 20. Use the Germanic alphabet as well. Yep. And Romanized lettering for stuff. We use Arabic numerals. Because back when Muslims were all about science and mathematics, they were eventually the ones that came up with the Arabic lettering is roughly, if I remember this right, I'm probably very wrong, but this is just kind of what I remember, is the Arabic lettering is numbering is eventually what got us to 0, 1, 2, 3, which actually 0 has a funny story behind it. Right, Dusty? How's it going, champion? It is going so well. Thank you for stopping by. It has been a while, my friend. How are you doing today? How are you doing this fine Friday? Pie's Egyptian? Ooh, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that, but looking at the shape of it, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's get this peninsula going. Okay. Oh, no, not what I wanted. Can we do... I want to make... Subtract. That's what it was. Okay. Subtract 12. Come in here like that. Ooh, maybe not that wide. And we can tone down the roughness a bit. I'm guessing there's a hand-drawn map next to you. Yeah, I've got roughly a hand-drawn map from like 2016 that I'm kind of basing this on. And that's kind of what I did for the other continents a little bit. Started a new job in DC. Been making me work late and I've been missing your streams. I feel bad I didn't get to your Dragon Age finale. Oh, it's okay. You're doing so great. You're doing so great. I'm so happy for you. Oh, but yeah, I have the finale to my Dragon Age stream posted on my YouTube. You can always watch it there. And we did just start Dragon Age 2 on Wednesday, which I guess a little bit of spoilers for how my campaign or my gameplay ended. My hero died, so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do Awakening or anything because that would break continuity. 0:30 a.m. now, lol. Okay, yeah. It's so funny. I get so many people from either the UK and like Sweden and all that, and I also get a bunch from like Brazil, or I've got some people from Portugal. I love how internationally diverse folks in my stream are. Oh, this is awesome. It's awesome. But yeah, I decided to skip over some DLC from Awakening just to get into Dragon Age 2, which honestly I don't regret. So far, Dragon Age 2 is awesome. High amount of D&D players. That makes sense. That makes sense. I myself, in fact, live in the Pacific Northwest of the American states, so in Washington State. And that is more or less where the headquarters for Wizards of the Coast is. So hey, I'm pretty close. It's in like Redmond or something. Alright, so this is going to be desert. So let's paint this sort of orange tone. Which, to be fair, probably is a little inaccurate for deserts, but eh! So with this, how do I even explain this away being a desert so along the peninsula? Well, I mean, like, often the inland of peninsula ends in rivers. That's fair. And you know what? We can make that happen. We can make that happen easily. Right along there. They're beautiful. But yeah, I guess this is the kind of spot where I'm trying to base it on like the Arabian Peninsula, you know, but that's like in between two continents, and it's already along a very arid landscape anyway. And so I'm trying to come up with a reason of why this would be desert. And I'm wondering if maybe that could just be a fantasy thing, but at the same time, I go smaller, try and explain away the desert a little. Oh, smaller with the river. Yep. Okay, let's knock that. Oh wow, that's tiny. Yeah, it's a littlest patch there. Yeah. But yeah, if I'm trying to explain that away, and then we'll probably just go for a bit more, like previously large river, now smaller. Yep. Yeah, a little smaller branch there. So we can have it so this little border zone is a bit more plainsy, so it explains a bit of like why there's less trees, because it's get more arid and less hospitable. Okay. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, okay. How much else do I need to figure out? Alright, so I need to basically just start dropping trees. Let's clean this up because I'm still seeing some green along the line there. Alright. Let's get some trees going. On here. Oh, I don't want to tilt them too much. Basically what I've got for trees. We can bump these up a bit. And I can't do exactly jungle trees. Because, like, that's a purchasable perk. But we can have this be a heavier forest along here. Maybe, ooh, well, do I have snow-capped mountains? This southern end can be very like southern Peru style, and ooh. Do I have snow-capped mountains? No, but there's brown mountains, which could also be fairly desert. Okay. This is changing things. We're gonna get some of these mountains out of the way. And I'm gonna slap... Oh, these could all be brown mountains too. Ooh, I'm thinking. Alright, load it back up. Brown mountains, beautiful. Build them up like a dream. 50. Alright, so that... And we'll have that be the big one. The rest of these will drop down in size as they go along this bit here. Okay. There we go. Alright, those can stay regular, because that's going to be definitely certainly volcanic. These can stay regular, but the ones going here and up, going to be very select here. Okay. Brown. So we'll just put those down there now. Boop. Dear God. 4D. Okay. Actually, 25. There were some smaller ones along here, and now we can tick it up to 30. Moving up along, beautiful. Select these ones. Out of here, cool. That one can stay like that, but these next ones going back up, continue being brown. And we'll go ahead and bump these up a bit. Going to 40 size. Do one more right there. Beautiful. Okay. Did I have snow-capped mountains? I don't think I do. Those are all the free ones. Does not look like it. That's fine. We still got snow trees. Which, also to be fair, a desert doesn't necessarily have to be hot. Like, there are cold deserts in very desolate areas. So let's go real quick. Snag all these ones, delete them out. And we will plop down some snow trees. Which, if I wanted to, I could just go spread like that, but I feel like that's too in line. Even though you 100% can change the, not rotation, where is it? Not opacity. The frequency that it puts down, but I do kind of like the control that just actually manually putting these all down in feels. And we can have like, oh, I haven't saved yet. Oh, save real quick. Beautiful. We'll have cities on very water-heavy spots. Just because that's generally where cities got built up, is either on coastlines or on rivers or at the end of rivers. So we'll probably have a city like right along here before this whole hillish land starts, right on the desert in the corner there. I know I've got a city at the base of this mountain because of a character's backstory in a campaign a long time ago. So I know I'll have that there. Color this through quick. Go. Then let's go back to... There we go. Keep going with the forest, huh? And we can spread out to a clearing on areas. We don't need to have the entire thing be forest. I can have it be a little thinner in areas, a little heavier in areas. That's kind of how naturally plants grow, like a little, almost unpredictably. Then a little heavier along the actual river line. Maybe I'll put a city right here. I haven't figured out too much necessarily where I'm gonna have many non-human races be centered from. I know that Shara's gonna be a pretty heavy human place. Like, this may or may not be where humans originate from and then eventually migrated north and then just sort of took over here. I know I want this to be a pretty significant elven area, and maybe have dwarves along here and along these mountains here and the hills. This is going to be a very, very waste area. Like some shit went down here a long time ago kind of waste. No, get out of my face! Be playing Theater of the Mind or Mapped. It kind of depends. At the moment right now, with my campaign that I'm running for my players in my own personal time, I have been running Theater of the Mind because there's only 3 players, so I don't need to keep track of stuff too much. And it hasn't been too complicated combat, and also I just haven't had too much time to actually, like, physically take the time to make the maps. I generally do, so I guess I generally do Theater of the Mind, but it was a lot easier when we had, like, a wet erase grid that we used for doing maps. I don't know where that's gone, but that makes it a lot easier, I know. So I guess it's part convenience, part the demands of time, and part necessity, you know? But I haven't had complaints yet. I haven't had anything that would deem that impossible yet. I'm generally Theater of the Mind and Mapped Encounters towns. Yeah, I've certainly got the starting town for my players mapped out, and that was a lot of fun because I put a lot of love in that place because I told my players when I started that I was like, I really wanted to do a campaign where the players started in a town that they lived in and that they were all involved in already. That's where they started. And so my players were able to help their characters along to fit that. Ironically enough, 2 of the 3 are extra planar. But we made it work. And I am actually making it work in the story, the greater story of what's going on in the world at this time. So, undo that. So if this is going to be... Ooh, no. This is rainforest, so we're going to make this bigger trees. Bump this up to 130 maybe? Yeah. What's your opinion on comedy characters? My opinion is... depends. So, with comedy characters, either one... So, scratch that. For comedy characters, everybody involved needs to be aware that that's something that's happening. Either, one, it's already going to be a very comedic campaign, and everybody's on board with that, and it's awesome. Hey, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so either one, everybody's fully aware and everybody's on board with it. Well, actually, that is the first thing. Is like everybody needs to be aware and on board with it. Either one, it's part of an already comedic campaign, and it's kind of what everybody's doing, and that's awesome. Or a cam froze? Did it? It's fine on my end. Check output here. No, looks good for me. I don't know, might be a Twitch thing. But yeah, so everybody needs to be aware, and either one, it's already a very comedic campaign, or two, it's something that can be dealt with, and there's already some themes to go along with it. So, big characters can be fun. Generally that's something you decide in session 0 when people are making characters, when the DM is either creating a story or planning the story based on what their characters are interested in, what they're going to do. But yeah, it's certainly not unwelcome unless unless the table is trying to deliberately do a very serious campaign, and then somebody pulls out a surprise comedic character, and it's like, we didn't really ask for that, like, and then you just it's all about communication. Get this hill out of here. So that's gonna be rainforest. Past that, this is wetlands. This is all wetlands, so I'm just gonna have some smaller, spaced out trees. We got trees. But like, I have, from a player perspective, I have a number of characters that I've done for like one-shots or just like shorter bits that were pretty obviously like meant to be really silly and just kind of chaotically cathartic, if that makes sense. But also for longer campaigns, I have characters with more thought out backgrounds and everything. I'm going to be playing a Minotaur Blacksmith level 5, 2 Fighter, 3 Paladin. That's awesome. I'm going to play him serious. Everyone is going to know him as Mr. Oxmall. After all, I'm going to say, please call me Mike. That's amazing. That's awesome. Like, it's so polite. Minotaur Blacksmith, professional, like, oh, please call me Mike. I love that. But yeah, that's exactly. It's just something that comes through communication and clearly laying out expectations of what the campaign is meant to be and what it's going to be. As a further example, for my session 0 with my current party, current players, one of the questions that I asked them is like, on a certain scale, how silly versus serious do you want this to be? And my comparisons, or my references for that were, for 0, we have Monty Python, you know? And for 10, I was like, oh, like The Last of Us. Between Monty Python and The Last of Us, how serious or silly do you want this to be? And they edged closer to like 7.5 towards a more serious campaign. If they say the full name, I'm just going to say, I didn't need to know that, son. Ugh. Oh, Mike Oxmall. Got it. I understand. Okay, so that's some Lord of the Rings-ish. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty close to that. Not nearly as high fantasy in my mind. Like, my world, I consider my world a bit darker than anything like sort of Lord of the Rings. Not nearly like Game of Thrones level dark, but like probably a happy medium between the two. People are still living their lives and everything, and it's not everything is under the threat of evil at all times. Like, and also I try and consider that in my world it's not explicitly going to be good versus evil. Like, there's plenty of gray mediation in my world, to the point where like the alignment stuff doesn't necessarily hold a ton of weight in my role. In fact, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering as much, I actually have my custom 20 god pantheon based around the 2 and 3 color combinations, as opposed to going specifically by the alignment chart. So your big evil might be great, Elon Musk. It very easily could be. In fact, I'm actually trying to conceptualize more villains to be kind of like just like folks that are abusive of their power. Just because I always love that being like, I always like the idea of putting realistic perspectives, like our real world perspectives, into situations in campaigns like this. And so, to that end, I have one of my countries in this world, one of my nations, being very, very America. In like, it's got a pretty questionably ethical history that is trying to rebrand itself. And I'm not evil, just rich. I mean, real talk, there are no ethical billionaires. But as far as villains go, yes. I think one of the villains that I want to have at some point is going to be a character that either forced its wealth into... No, that's not something right. That either manipulated others into providing its wealth, or was inherited into wealth, and is just maintaining the status quo through cruelty and subversion. Because that's pretty much how it friggin' works. But yeah, I want to... One of the things I want to do is have my players face those sorts of situations, and I'm not going to tell them that this is exactly stuff that happens, but I want them to try and come to that realistically. Which, also to be fair, so like elves, manipulation, dwarves to mine for them, that could be a possibility. Off tangent, can I ask for voice acting advice in your free time? Yeah, Dusty, if you just want to like DM me sometime on like Twitter or something, I can offer what I can for you. As novice and limited in experience as I am, I've got some experience. So yeah, if you want advice on that, sure, just DM me on Twitter or something. Let's see, how else am I doing? Did I erase these islands that were over here? I think I did. Let's bring them back. I feel like bringing them back. Add. So we can... A bit of a larger island here, because I had a mountain on it. And then... like smaller ones. Boop. Boop. And then... boop, boop, boop. Little triad of islands. Where do those mountains go? Small... Ah! There we go. 15. And that can... Ooh, maybe smaller there. 10? Ooh, 10 works fine. 10 works just fine. Then we'll have... this. We'll build it up a bit more, just so I can... Gorgeous. Okay. So this is going really well. God, I do love how one side is literally plains and the other is like actual like green grasslands. Oh nope. I actually do really like how that looks. That's one thing I hate though, is when it undoes something, it might just erase the rest of the stuff too. And that's why you get those little lines there. But you can fix that easily. Down a bit. Whoop. That back in. Beautiful. Okay. this can still be that same color, and I think that's fine. So how am I looking here? That is gorgeous. That is actually really, really pretty. So now I want to actually put in some larger cities. So, I remember from a backstory from one of my old players in the initial creation of this world, is that there were, like, on either side of this mountain were sort of like warring clans almost. So we'll have one here and one there. And then we'll also put in these towers. Sort of represent, hey, we're watching. Now, well, since this is a very nomadic area, what could I do? Can't really show that. No, maybe not too much settling. I don't think there's much actual, like, settling that would ever be done there. So, tent. I mean, there aren't any free tents. It is a great idea. Orc village here, but again, that's like settling. But if there were more animals other than just like the serpent, I would certainly put those there to represent it. But well, it's not a huge deal. Let's get more cities in here. So like let's shrink this down a little bit. Put this one right at the top there, and I'll move this hill over. I know that's going to be a significant city. Let's put another city, maybe a little smaller. Oh, not all the way down there. Like 40, 21. That's about right. And a little bit more. Yeah. Another city right there. I think I said one, like, right at... Well, we can put it right on the edge here, so it's, like, close enough to the river. And one at the base of these mountains here. Actually, you know what? We don't need a fully, like, fortified capital city there. We could have more towns. Human city. There we go. Human city. We can have another human city on this side. Do I have any others listed? Not really. It was just a few... Oh, I need one actually in these mountains. We'll have a town. Yeah. Was that... What was right at the tops of these? Hold on. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay. So you... Can I... There we go. Okay. That there. So one thing I've always had in mind, I don't think I ever wrote it down anywhere, one of the things I had in mind was that for Elf City up north might make sense to stack Human City in a big tree. I mentioned earlier that around here is going to be that sort of like elven focus, but they're also going to be spread out around, like, I mean, you're going to find different races spread out all over the place. Like, I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 dwarf-centric areas. But, yeah, I'm going to have elves up here. I'm not sure where I'm going to have too many big trees. Like, I meant to have a large tree here, but I couldn't really figure out how to do that accurately. Also, Taurine is kind of the city, or the continent of gigantic things, so that might have one go there. We'll see though. But anyway, one thing that I had in mind that I don't think I ever really wrote it down, was that this whole mountain range here was gonna be very like goblinoid heavy, specifically hobgoblins and all of their like super organized militaristic whatever, and they'd basically be the gang taking tolls from people trying to go around there. And then I wanted like this more northern area to be very orcish, because I like the idea of like northern orcs in like a tundra area, and it's super rough and chaotic. And meanwhile, the hobgoblins down here in sort of the more arid, drier desert mountains. I don't know, I just really like that idea. I do know that I also need to place certain giant-centric areas, like giants as far as the races go, because one of my characters is a rune knight fighter, and his backstory is actually that he's straight up learned Orc Taiga. Yes, that's a really great way of putting it. But yeah, I need to put some giant-centric areas somewhere. I'll figure that out though. But this is Nolrith, this is Shara. This turned out really nice. Is there much more I could do here? Not a ton. Let me see more of these. I mean, that's fair. Scale. Oh, that's good. Markers. Oh, that's probably for marking cities down. Dead trees. Oh, I got a place for you. You can bump these up a bit more. Yeah. Up in this very blasted area. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think I'll focus on different continents each time, for each time I do this sort of editing and stuff. Do I need... No, we don't need text right now. Do I need any dead trees here? I do need to focus at some point on doing regional maps. Like, obviously, Blast is in what happened to one of the Brother Kings of Eberron. I'll be real with you, I don't know too much about actual D&D world lores, but if it's anything similar to some big event that destroyed an area happened here, then yes, that's probably the same idea. But yeah, it's everything here in like this whole connector area beyond these mountains here is just wastes. I do have an idea for like, so a couple of ideas, and I might be able to chain them together, but I had an idea for a spot in the atmosphere where there actually is a hole in what is essentially the ozone, and that lets in the sun's influence directly on that patch of Earth. And that's important because the king split his land between 4 suns and they build war forts, and one of the suns' lands basically exploded. I guess, yeah, kind of. Also, that's awesome. But, yeah, so I had a couple ideas where hole in the ozone, sun's beams directly affecting the land. And that's important because in my world, in my cosmology, the sun literally is a cosmic horror. Literally is an eldritch deity, essentially. And so the planet's atmosphere and everything tempers its radiation, except when there's a hole in the ozone, and then directly on that spot, pretty much whatever is in direct sunlight will eventually be corrupted and twisted into these things that are basically like pale or like ivory almost amoeboids that are like slightly translucent and in a rough shape of what they used to be. And that's kind of an idea I had for some place that is extremely dangerous on this planet. So Dark Skin Elvish Warlocks around there. I mean, I think I'm a bit ahead of you, but there wouldn't be any real life that lives there because they all know that it gets corrupted and tainted. But I had another idea for a subterranean society. It might be it might be drow, it might be just more dwarves or something, or it might be super mixed race because they've all had to go underground so quickly. Gotcha, drow. Yeah, kind of. And so a society that's forced underground because the surface is so unlivable. So I could combine those ideas and put those somewhere. In fact, I could make that essentially the Blasted Wastes. But I like the idea that it's not that corrupted, it's just unlivable. Underkin, yeah! Like Swerfnelfbin or Dorgar, possibly. But that's also like kind of dwarves are also underground. But I kind of like the idea of this not being unlivable, just extremely harsh. And that's somewhere else, maybe somewhere on Eos. I don't want it to be the Arctic continent, because that's a whole thing. And I kind of don't want it to be Taurine either, but someplace where the surface is so unlivable, so people have been forced within recent generations to live underground. Like deep underground. And so that would be an excuse to use all sorts of Underdark stuff and things like that, which I haven't used Underdark stuff enough. I do have plans for involving like an Illithid at some point for one of my characters, like backstory stuff that involves an extraplanar thing that would kind of end up being involving Gith later down the road. But that's for later down the road. It is 5 o'clock now, so unfortunately I do have to call it here, but I made a lot of good progress on this. Where on Shara would people sail to? I noticed the ship on the other island. So, to answer that, there's probably going to be a lot more trading, like, along here, along there. On Taurine, these are the major trade spots. I know in the lore of my continent, like, there's a lot of trade that goes on from, like, Pymetus and Bellamy down along the coast to this more western side of Shara. So I'll probably have, you know what, I can just do that right now, real quick. Just put a city down, like, right there. If I can make this a little smaller, please, thank you. There we go. This can be a larger city, and we can also have a, just a regular, well, where'd the boats go? There's a boat. Drop that size a bit. And have that there. That could be a port town. That could be a port city. Yeah, that'll do pretty well. We can have smaller one here. Oh, maybe not quite that small. Smaller one there. Back to larger. Oh, nope. Right there. Size of a bit. Okay. Alright. So yeah, that's done.